Hello, this is Mr. Wyrick, and I'm here to talk to you about Lesson 7.4. That's the fourth lesson from Chapter 7, about halfway through the chapter. On this one, we'll be talking about parallel lines and proportional parts. So it starts off with 7.5 on page 490. Again, you'll need to take this down in your notes. But it says that if we have a triangle, and in that triangle we have extended out another line that's parallel to this one, the sides will be divided proportionally. Okay, so in other words, if we have triangle A, B, C, and we have segment EF out here that's parallel, and we extend these, AC is going to be to CF as AB is to BE, and then BC will also be proportional to EF. We'll end up with similar triangles. It's a kind of side angle side similarity like we were talking about in the last lesson. On 7.6, we're talking about the converse of this. So if we have a line coming through this middle part that divides this segment proportionally, then it is parallel to this end line. Okay, we're basically going back and dealing with some more stuff on the parallel lines that we saw earlier. So we have a mid-segment of a triangle. That's a definition that you'll need to take down. But 7.7 here says if our triangle has a mid-segment, then this mid-segment that goes from midpoint to midpoint is going to be parallel to one of these sides and half of the length. So we're going to be cutting off a smaller proportional triangle every time we draw a line through those different mid-segments. We have a couple of corollaries that come off of this that do go all the way back, not necessarily to triangles, but to some different stuff that we were doing with parallel lines over here. So corollary 7.1 says that if we have at least 3 parallel lines and they're going across these transversals, that they are going to cut the transversals into proportional sizes. So just like we had back here with the triangles, if we don't have this closed down to a triangle and deal with that in any way, we're still dealing with proportions. So we have AB is to BC as EF is to FG. On 7.2, it makes a slightly different statement, leaving out the proportionality, to where if this comes through and AB is congruent to BC, then EF is also going to be congruent to FG. Instead of cutting it into proportional segments, it's cutting it into congruent segments, and they're all going to be congruent along there as long as it's the same transversal. On page 494, I did think it was interesting to take a look at, put in your notes, the trisecting of a segment. It's a little different how they do it. They basically make a line, then they make a segment of a certain length, make 3 of those, and then say, oh yes, this is how far our line extends, as opposed to draw a line and then actually figuring out how to cut it into thirds. So it's a little different approach, but I do want you to get some practice on that. You'll need a compass. You may need to finish that one in class. If you need to come in for tutorials to do that, you can come in for tutorials to do that as well, but it is pretty self-explanatory if you look at the page. If you have any other questions over our parallel lines and proportional parts formed by those parallel lines, remember to come in and ask those questions just during class. Will be fine. We'll get them answered for everyone. We'll see you in class.